I just want to make you aware that you don't have to be a part of a trade union. So to be given the right to be represented, you don't have to be part of a trade union, and that's quite often why somebody would invite a colleague to a formal meeting. But some people might choose to be represented by a trade union, or might choose to be part of a trade union.
Any specific industries that have trade unions?
There used to be, so things like the coal mines and engineering, a lot of engineering firms. You probably know quite a bit about this. Have you got a trade union, recognised trade union within the company?
Not aware of it.
No? Okay.
Probably,
so there might be people that are members of, I imagine you've got quite a few long-serving engineering staff.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Though you might find that those long-serving engineering staff are maybe still part of trade unions from the days gone by. Trade union representation within this country has gone down, and that's because of all the legislation and all the guidelines and rules that we now have in place, and the governance. I think that's a good thing. Yeah. It can be looked on as a bad thing, but I think that's actually a good thing. When you look at America, where trade union membership is really, really high, and has to be high because legislation doesn't protect them, they need a party that will support them and guide, and help to guide particular outcomes for things. So, but yes, in terms of industries that do generally find trade union representation is high, is things like manufacturing, airlines. So you might have heard about British Airways strikes a few I don't know if they're still happening actually, but a couple of months ago, and yeah, aviation generally. Teachers. So yeah, and so then a lot of state, state industries, if you like, as well. So teaching and universities and things like that. There we go. But again, it's optional. It's not compulsory, and there is pressure within particular industries. There's pressure for people to join. So at British Airways, they're constantly sort of asked to. They're constantly encouraged to become part of a trade union. But I think it's within those industries where working conditions can be quite questionable and can be quite easily changed without a lot of notification. So yes. So I mentioned a short while ago about the Equality Act, and this is a really important one to go through, and this is quite key for a lot of the way in which businesses operate and do certain things. So this was brought about to consolidate lots of pieces of legislation. We got to a point in this country where we had legislation around race, gender equal pay, disability, etc. And we got to a point where it kind of all needed scooping up within one act. So hence the Equality Act 2010. That did result in companies then generating an equality and diversity policy, as opposed to a race policy, a gender policy, an equal pay policy, da 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 da. By having an equality and diversity policy, it can recognise that by all of these particular equality factors are scooped up and considered and well respected within the business, and are investigated accordingly if any breach of such is noted